Hello children, hope you people are doing well and keeping safe at home. So we are going to continue with the chapter acids, bases and salts. And the topic that we are going to take up in this video is sodium hydrogen carbonate. Its chemical formula is NaHCO3 and commonly it is known as baking soda. Now we are going to discuss regarding the preparation, properties and uses of this compound. So we are going to continue with preparation method. Now sodium hydrogen carbonate or baking soda is prepared in industries by the process known as ammonia soda process, or it is also known as Solvay process. Now what is done in ammonia soda process or Solvay process is that sodium chloride is taken and you make an aqueous solution, concentrated aqueous solution of sodium chloride in water. Then ammonia gas is passed through it, and after that carbon dioxide gas is also passed through it. So basically when we are going to make concentrated aqueous solution of sodium chloride in water, then we are using brine, because what is brine? Brine is concentrated aqueous solution of sodium chloride, and when ammonia gas is passed through it, then it becomes ammonical brine solution, and on passing carbon dioxide gas we are going to get these two as the products. So first product obtained is ammonium chloride and the other product obtained is sodium hydrogen carbonate. Now we are going to separate these two components based on their difference in solubility. Now ammonium chloride is very much soluble in water. On the other hand, sodium hydrogen carbonate is sparingly soluble in water. As a result, we are going to dissolve these two, and further it can be separated by filtration process. Next, coming on to the laboratory preparation method. For this we are going to take sodium carbonate and we are going to make an aqueous solution of this compound. Then carbon dioxide gas is passed through it and we are going to get sodium hydrogen carbonate as the product. So when it comes to laboratory preparation on a very small scale, then this method is used, and when it comes to industrial preparation of sodium hydrogen carbonate, then Solvay process or ammonia soda process is being used. Next, coming on to the properties of this compound. So first of all, it is a white colored crystalline solid. Secondly, it is stable in air, which means it doesn't react with any of the components present in air. Thirdly, it is sparingly soluble in water, like I have already told you, and sparingly doesn't mean that it is completely insoluble. Sparingly simply means that it is soluble to a very lesser extent, and when it is going to be dissolved in water, then it gives alkaline solution, which is a solution which is alkaline in nature. So what happens? This is going to be shown with the help of a reaction. Sodium hydrogen carbonate is dissolved in water, and these two are the products that we are going to get. First one is sodium hydroxide and another one is carbonic acid. Now what is your previous information? That sodium hydroxide is a very strong base and carbonic acid is a weak acid. As a result, sodium hydroxide will produce more of hydroxyl ions and carbonic acid will produce less of hydrogen ions, thereby giving alkaline solution. Next is action of heat. When carbon dioxide gas is evolved, when this sodium hydrogen carbonate is decomposed by heating or thermal decomposition process takes place. So we are going to get sodium carbonate, carbon dioxide gas is evolved, and water is also one of the products of this thermal decomposition reaction. Next is action of acids. Now we have dealt with this kind of reaction when we are discussing the chemical properties of acids. That time I have told you that acids react with metal carbonates or metal bicarbonates and they produce salt, water and carbon dioxide gas is evolved. So this is one of the examples of that kind only. Over here we are going to take sodium hydrogen carbonate and it reacts with dilute hydrochloric acid. Now the products of this reaction is going to be a salt, water and carbon dioxide gas is going to be evolved. So the salt over here formed is sodium chloride, and carbon dioxide and water is also produced as the other products. Now coming on to the uses of this compound, sodium hydrogen carbonate is used as an antacid in medicine. Now what do you mean by antacid? Antacids are basically mild bases which act against acids. Next is it is used in fire extinguishers. Now soda acid fire extinguisher is one of the type of fire extinguisher, and what we do in soda acid fire extinguisher, this sodium hydrogen compound, sodium hydrogen carbonate is taken and along with some dilute sulfuric acid in a separate container within that flask. Now what happens when the nozzle or when the nozzle of that fire extinguisher is pressed, then this dilute sulfuric acid gets mixed with sodium hydrogen carbonate and a reaction takes place. Now what kind of reaction takes place? Sodium sulfate is produced, carbon dioxide gas is produced, and water is also produced as one of the products. Now what is the role of this carbon dioxide? This carbon dioxide actually makes an envelope around the burning substance or the substance which is burning. This carbon dioxide gas makes an envelope around it, thereby cutting off the supply of oxygen gas. And this water and sodium sulfate, this comes out with so much of force and brings down the temperature of that substance below its ignition temperature. Thereby together what happens? Supply of oxygen is also cut off, and the temperature of the burning substance also comes down below its ignition temperature, and this extinguishes the fire. Next, it is used in making baking powder. Now baking soda is different from baking powder. How is it different? Baking soda is simply a compound which is sodium hydrogen carbonate, and baking powder is a mixture of baking soda along with a mild edible acid basically we are talking about. So you can see to it I have written baking soda is a mixture of baking powder is a mixture of baking soda and a mild edible acid. Now this mild edible acid could be your tartaric acid, it could be citric acid, any of those acids which are edible, which we can consume, and that is not going to harm us. So, and where is it being put to use? Where this baking powder is being put to use? Baking powder is used for making cakes, pastries, breads. Now what is the advantage of using baking powder over baking soda? The advantage of using baking powder over baking soda is that when this baking soda is mixed with some mild edible acid, then the sodium carbonate which is produced as a result of this decomposition of sodium hydrogen carbonate, this sodium carbonate actually gives a very bitter taste. And when this sodium carbonate is produced, then this sodium carbonate reacts with this mild edible acid which is tartaric acid maybe, and that gives a very pleasant taste because sodium tartrate salt is formed in that case. Okay, and what is the function of this carbon dioxide gas? This carbon dioxide gas evolved makes the cake porous and light and fluffy. Okay, so the advantage of using baking powder over baking soda is that the bitter taste of sodium carbonate is neutralized when this sodium carbonate reacts with tartaric acid or citric acid, and a tartrate salt or a citrate salt is produced. Okay, this is the advantage of using baking powder over baking soda when you are making cakes, pastries and breads. Okay, that's all for in this video. Now in my next video we are going to continue with the next topic. So thank you all for joining.